In today's video, I am showing off how I added multiplayer to my game called Fight Poker. This uses C++ and OpenGL for all the gameplay and graphics you see on screen here, and ASIO for the networking and multiplayer aspects. So before I explain the steps I took to create this, I just want to briefly explain how this works. So I have two projects, a client and a server. The client is an OpenGL project that handles all the game graphics and all the player inputs and like drawing everything to the screen. And then the client is just a C++ project. It has nothing to do with OpenGL, and it handles syncing up two clients together and all of the game logic. So a client will connect to a server, then a second client will connect, and then they could both play from the server. So to explain how we got to this point, I have to start with my two previous projects. The first was a simple networking demonstration that had a client and a server, and the client could ping the server and receive a connection and send messages. The other one was the Fight Poker game. However, there was no multiplayer to it. It was just a single player game against the AI. So what I did is I had the base Fight Poker game connect to a server, and then the server would send one card to any client that connected to it. So in this demonstration, the client connects to the server sent the 6 of diamonds back, and then play continued from there against the AI, and the server had nothing to do with it. However, this is quite boring and also leads to a few issues. As you saw in that demonstration, since the client has its own deck, and the server just sent it a card, and that second demo, there was 2 6s of diamonds, which is not supposed to happen. So the next change I made is that I made the server have control of the deck and send every card to the clients. So as you can see now, the Jack of Clubs is in the river for both clients, and then both clients have their own hands, but they still are coming from the server, so there'll be no duplicate cards, and the server can control everything, which improves security. The last thing I needed to do to this project before I could convert all of the code from single player to multiplayer was add a way for the player to tell the server where they place their cards. And the way I did this was by creating a card packet, which is a struct containing a position, a card ID, and then a function. So the functions are from set card from value, set card on board, and remove card. So I could tell the server to either place or remove a card at a certain location or at a certain location with this exact value. And once I did that, whenever the client would place a card on one of their spots, I would send a card packet to the server would receive that packet and send that card packet to the other client, allowing for clients to play cards on the other screen, as you can see here. So with all that working, I ported all the code for the game logic from the client to the server. So now the server will deal out a bunch of cards, 1 to the center and 3 to each player's hands, and then it will wait for both players to place down all of their cards or push enter holding some cards in their hand. And then once both players have done that, it has them calculate what hands they had, score points. Then that cycle repeats until there's 5 cards in the center, and at that point it will check who had the most points and declare them the winner. And if they're tied, it will be a draw. And that is how it works, and that uses card packets, the connection, and all the stuff from the original Fight Poker game and the original networking video. But there's a few issues with this, the main one being just since the original Fight Poker game was constructed for multiplayer, it's not very well built for multiplayer. So like one of the issues is that the client can just tell the server what cards it's played, and the server has no way of knowing if that's actually what they had or not. So a hacked version of this client could very easily tell the server to just like play 4 aces on every spot and it would listen. And that's because my card manager class, it handled all of the game logic on the client side, but it also handled all of the rendering. So I couldn't just directly port that to the server. I had to just like take the functions on the client side and send them to the server, as all that was pretty interchanged. But if you stick around till next week, I will be rebuilding this project from the ground up to work with multiplayer so that it runs smoother and all these issues are fixed. And if you want to see the original multiplayer project with a chat window that's able to communicate between 2 clients, you should check out this video here. And until next time, see ya.